Let me see a practice swing without hitting the ball. Just a normal, it feels like a normal practice swing. One more, do one more of those. Very solid. Would that represent one of your better hits on a golf course?
I consider that a good hit.
I do too. Yeah. That practice swing's on tape. Okay. Let me see you do a practice swing and just hit the rubber tee. Okay. Hit it again. And I'm mostly talking about driver ball.
Rick, in the last portion of our first session, I looked at your full swing, both the iron and the driver, but we focused mostly on the driver swing in terms of making some changes. The ball flight error that was most problematic to your results was that you tended to hit the ball to the right too much, and you missed a lot of fairways right, and so you had a big slice often off the driver that would get you into trouble and cost you strokes. So that was the key thing that I wanted to have some influence on in this last part of this session. And there was one key thing that I wanted to adjust and change first that would go a long way in straightening your driver out. Now, there are other important changes that you need to make also to continue to improve your performance with the driver. But in the limited time we had, I wanted to first focus on how you grip the club with, and particularly the left hand, the gloved hand. You know, the hands and how you put your hands on the club are one of the major fundamentals of a good golf swing. And there's a lot of things that we do as we move in terms of our swing plane and club head speed and tempo and ball position. There's just 20-25 things that are part of the fundamentals of a good golf swing. But a major fundamental is how you hold the club. And so I want to point out some of the things that were doing. On the left here is your grip before I made adjustments, and on the right is Tiger Woods. And I'm going to show some differences between yours and Tiger's, but also yours and other pros. The main thing I changed in your left hand was the rotational position of the left hand. There are 3 labels for rotational position that you might read when it comes to how you grip the club with your hands. One, you might hear the phrase weak grip, strong grip, or neutral grip. Those are simply labels for rotational positions. And your left hand is in a very weak position. And the tendency is when you grip it weakly, or when you grip it in a weak position, your left hand is not in a good position to rotate the club face quick enough in the downswing to help that club face arrive at the golf ball square to your target line. And therefore, it doesn't, because it's not rotating fast enough, when it does hit the ball, the club face is still open to the right of your target line at impact. And so the ball will start out too far to the right. The starting direction of ball flight is primarily determined by where the face is pointing at impact. Tiger has rotated his hands and forearms toward the right of the grip, looking at it from his perspective, towards his back leg. And I can see a little bit more of the back of his left hand than yours. Your left hand is almost pointing directly at your target. Tiger's left hand is pointing a little bit more up toward the sky. One reference point is the seam right here between the gloved thumb and the body of the hand, that little seam that's on that his glove. You can see the direction it is pointing to his back shoulder. And the seam on your glove is pointing basically at the center of your body. And that's one indication of how far over you or Tiger turns it compared to you. You'll also notice that you cannot see Tiger's left thumb at all. He completely covers it up with the palm of his right hand, whereas I can see a good portion of your left thumb because your right hand is turned under too much and you don't really get your hands close enough together to work as a unified grip. You have almost two independent hands fighting each other in the golf swing. Now let's look at some other pros and what their grip looks like. This is Tom Watson. You cannot see his left thumb. Jesper Parnevik, again, he's covering that thumb up. Anthony Kim, Ben Hogan. So the only change I made in the driver's swing was the left hand, and that I wanted it to go over to the side more. That would help rotate the club face faster, allow that club to get more square at impact so the ball would start straighter. Now, you'll still hit some bad shots because other missing fundamentals will sabotage you, but I needed to get the left hand to stop sabotaging you. And you started to hit the ball much more solid and straighter, and once we blend in some other pieces, your overall driver swing will get better. But this was the first change, and we would need to make more to continue that improvement.